A man who was off his head on booze and cocaine broke into his ex-girlfriend's home armed with a knife. He then smeared blood on the walls before attacking two police officers. Aaron Eaton, 32, and his former partner had split following a 5-year relationship, but he was jealous and unhappy at it coming to an end. Following a night out with her cousin on December 18th last year, the woman asked him to stay over as she was scared after receiving abusive messages from Eaton. While she was getting changed, she heard glass smashing and went downstairs to find he had broken in and a large knife was on the floor. She shouted at him to leave and asked her cousin to call the police, Prosecutor Julian King told Minchell Street Crown Court. He was shouting at her, asking who she was with. He took her phone and looked through it before grabbing her face, squeezing it and trying to kiss her. He told her to tell him the truth so he would not hurt her. The woman noticed a large, black-handled knife in her daughter's bedroom. Luckily, her children were not at home at the time. Eaton's hands were covered in blood, which was going everywhere, the woman said. She said it was the most traumatic 10 minutes of her life. 2 police officers arrived to arrest Eaton to find blood in every room in the woman's flat, along with bloody handprints on the wall. He asked the woman, "Why have you done that?" upon seeing the officers as they tried to calm him down and put him in handcuffs. He struggled against them before running across the car park outside the flat, which was slippy due to the weather. They were forced to restrain him on the floor as he continued kicking out. At one stage, he flicked his bloody fingers at them, spraying blood all over their faces and uniform. One of the officers said that the blood hit her in the mouth. Eaton continued to resist, telling officers he had brain damage and COVID and they had to call for backup. He also pulled them to the floor during the struggle. When backup arrived, he was eventually handcuffed and arrested. He later denied the offences, but following a search of his phone, detectives found messages between Eaton and his sister where he made it clear he was intending to go to his former partner's house despite her warning him against doing so. In a statement, the woman said it was the most traumatic 10 minutes of her life. She said that she was in genuine fear, adding, "Nobody should be made to feel that fear." Eaton was said to have 9 previous convictions for 16 offences. Defending, Simon Breakthrough said his client had suffered traumatic brain injury in 2009 and as a result could affect his cognitive behaviour as well as problem-solving skills. However, he said a psychiatrist concluded there were limited evidence to suggest the injury impacted his behaviour in December last year. He told a probation officer he was off his head on drink and drugs, Mr. Blakeborough said. He was on bail following these offences, but breached that bail by Facebook contact and was remanded into custody on December 28th. He is deeply ashamed and remorseful for what he has done and apologises not just to his former partner, but also to the 2 police officers. Sentencing, District Judge Sarah Jane Griffith said, "No doubt she was absolutely terrified. She was in her own home where she should be made to feel safe. I'm prepared to accept there is some remorse, but I do have some doubt of the extent of that. And the reason for that is based on what you told the probation officer when you tried to justify and minimise your behaviour." Eaton, of Dearne Drive, Stretford, was jailed for 22 months after pleading guilty to criminal damage, possession of a knife, common assault, and assault of an emergency worker. He was also made the subject of a restraining order indefinitely. Police have issued urgent appeal to find missing girl who was last seen near her high school. Taylor, age 15, was last seen near Charlton High School in South Manchester at around 1 p.m. on the 28th of February, with police continuing their efforts to trace her. She is described as a white female, around 5 foot 5 inches tall, with blonde hair. She was last seen wearing a coat and black leggings and is believed to have links across South Manchester. In a public appeal, Greater Manchester Police said officers are becoming increasingly concerned about the teenager and want to make sure she is safe and well. The force has issued an image of Taylor as part of their appeal and is urging anyone who may have any sightings of Taylor or know any information about her whereabouts to report it immediately. A teenager who was arrested after a 19-year-old was stabbed in the chest in a targeted attack in a park in Bury has been released on bail, police have confirmed. The teenager was attacked in Whitehead Park off Ainsworth Road on February 12th. Officers said the victim was approached by 3 males before the fight then broke out. He was stabbed in the left side of his chest. Officers said he did not know the males, though they said the attack was believed to have been targeted and isolated. An 18-year-old male was arrested on suspicion of Section 18 wounding. In an update issued on March the 2nd, a spokesperson for Greater Manchester Police said he had been released on bail pending further investigations. The victim was discharged from hospital shortly after the incident. After the stabbing, police taped off the park and blocked off all entrances into it. Residents report seeing a large police presence in the area, with officers using torches to search the park. Sergeant John Nestor of Bury CID previously said this was a targeted attack and has left a young man with very serious stabbing injuries. A man has been jailed after a loaded gun was found hidden in an extractor fan in a kitchen in Salford. Officers burst into the property on Langworthy Road on the morning of April 26 last year. They found a loaded .32 caliber revolver in the kitchen in a search. Marco Mackenzie had placed it there, Greater Manchester Police said. The 26-year-old was arrested and taken into custody. Mackenzie, of Old Moat Lane, Withington, was in charge of possession of a firearm. On February the 13th, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison at Manchester Crown Court after pleading guilty. Detective Inspector Lee Newburn from Challenger's City of Manchester South team said, diligent inquiries led to locating Mackenzie at the property in Salford. A thorough and full search of the kitchen resulted in a viable and dangerous firearm being located with the bullets placed inside. A knife-wielding man threatened members of the public in a violent rampage in Tameside. Officers swarmed Manchester Road in Mossley on February the 27th following the concerning report near the commercial pub and Mossley train station. The offender had then entered a nearby Premier shop where he had also threatened the shopkeeper before being detained. Police then discovered he was in possession of a number of bladed articles. The man, aged in his 30s, was arrested for possession of a bladed article, attempted robbery and racially aggravated public order. He remains in custody awaiting questioning by officers. Officers from Greater Manchester Police Operation Venture Team have been out across the Tameside borough as part of their action to tackle knife crime in hotspot areas. Inspector John Izard, who heads up Operation Venture Team, said, "My officers are patrolling across all areas of Greater Manchester, and I hope this arrest demonstrates that there is no place for knife crime and this level of criminality on our streets."